Check, check. Check, check.
Yeah, sick, brother. I just got a fucking camera. Oh, come on, seriously.
Hang on.
One day applications will be able to share hardware.
Check. Can you guys hear me now?
I don't think there's anything coming through YouTube.
It should be
So
now.
I got a YouTube window open and I should be getting like heaps of echo and stuff like that. Okay, there you go.
There it is.
You're
Okay.
on.
I'm going to hang up here and I'll just
Yep.
do my thing, I guess.
Cool, man.
I'm not going to have a camera because there's some other stuff going on, but we'll see what happens.
Nice.
Thanks.
All good.
Okay. Everybody says we got audio. And all right. So who we got here? We got 3 people watching. We've got Marshall, and we've got Mark, and we've got Tim. All right, guys. Thanks for checking this out. This is more of a dry run, trying to see if I can actually make some of this stuff work. I did have some issues with my camera, not doing what I need it to do. So right now, this is going to be desktop only, and my voice and my playback off my mix bus. I'm just going to kind of go through just a little quick explanation of what this session is, what I'm doing, what the project is, some suggestions for people that maybe don't follow these things, ways to make things work a little bit easier for the people that you're working with. Yes, I am in OBS. I got most of everything working, but there's some latency that I can't tolerate between the video from my camera and the way the audio feeds through OBS. It makes it to where what I'm doing on my end, monitoring wise, I can't juggle it right now. So we'll work on that. So yeah, my name's Justin Mai. I am an audio engineer in Boise, Idaho, and I work on various projects for various people all over the world. And I've been in Boise about 17 years. I am primarily a Pro Tools user, and have also been using Reaper. I use Mixbus. I also use Cakewalk, or what's formerly Sonar Platinum, because it allows me to do surround work without having to pay subscription fees to another company. But I'm just going to kind of explain what this session is here and what I've got set up. This is a song called The Dangling of the Dangly Doos that I have been working on, and more recently decided to commit to some takes that I was happy with, and have asked a friend if he would be willing to take a stab at mixing one of my songs, and he agreed kindly in exchange for me taking a stab at one of his. And so this is the session that I put together based on the tracks that I sent him. And I thought that this would be a good, simple, clean way to show a good way to lay out a session and how to prep things to send to somebody else. Because let's face it, it's a pain in the ass when someone sends you material that is just difficult to work with. So what I've got here is you're looking at my edit window right now. First track up top is my drums. For my drums, I'm using Stephen Slate drums 5.5 or whatever. For those of you that care and are going to ask, I'm using the Deluxe 1 kit, vintage, and the vintage 60s rock. And you should have direct audio. You guys got direct audio. Looks like Mark says it's great. So, as far as my mix setup, the way I'm routing everything, all my shells go out to their own mono tracks, or sorry, my kick and my snare. So all my kicks go out their own mono output. My snare tracks all go out their own mono output. Same thing for my hi-hat and ride. And then backing up here to my toms, all four toms are feeding out to a stereo toms bus. Let's see. I'm just taking a look at the chat here, guys. Looks like everybody's still seeing everything, hearing everything. And again, I'm not running a camera just because I've got a face for radio and my camera's not working great right now. So baby steps and we'll get there. Going back to my busing, I'm running my toms are all going through a stereo bus. Again, my hi-hat and ride all go out to their own mono, and I'll explain that further here in a second. Clap and cowbell, tambourine, all that's not present on this kit. My overhead and rooms, and those are all going out to another stereo bus. And if I pull up my mix window, then you can see what I've got going down here. Again, I'll get into this. Starting over here, you got my drums, or my slate drums, instrument track. And then again, going back to the outputs that I had set up in Stephen Slate drums. Again, here's my kicks, all come in here. My snares come in here, hi-hat, ride, and these are all mono. And then again, I've got stereo toms, and I've got my hi-hat and ride, overhead, room 1, room 2, and then all of the way I route my drums in this at the moment is all my shells come over here to this drums bus. Anything that's a room, here, and I'll show you this. Anything that's a cymbal, an overhead, room mic, anything like that comes into this this track, or this input, called brass, overheads, and room. Imagine that. And going back to the actual audio tracks that are in here, I've got bass. I'm going to take a step back. So one thing, going back to what I said in the beginning of the video, when you're working with somebody and you're going to send material to them, make it easy for them to work with you and for you. No one likes to receive tracks that show up and instead of the kick drum track saying kick, it says, 00942 FPQ LRSV number 1 from January 5th, first take. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. If it's the kick drum, name it the fucking kick drum. Make your snare say snare. Make your hi-hat say hi-hat, or something that's notable, that makes sense. And then, when you get all of those takes and regions and clips and everything down together, consolidate your tracks. So let me get back into my edit window. Sorry, I'm all thinking you guys are seeing what I'm doing, and you're not. My apologies. So one thing that you want to do, like I said, name your stuff. If it's kick, make it say kick. But the other thing that you want to do is you want to go through, and instead of having a million different audio regions that are all cut apart, grab everything and every DAW you can do this. You can grab all your regions on a track. You can consolidate them and turn them into one long region. Do us a favor and do this. Once you've decided that you've cleaned out all the extraneous crap, label your tracks. Label your tracks. Yes, Texas Jackdaw. Label your tracks. Can we say it together, class? Label your tracks. Again, something sensible that makes sense. Dangly Doo's bass. Dangly Doo's Git 1, 2, 3, 4. Dangly Doo's lead melody guitar. Dangly Doo's clean guitar. This one here, AC Git 1-10. This is what I'm talking about. I wanted to give you an example of what not to leave. Don't leave all these little chunks of stuff. Here's a region that's part of a take. That's a punch in, by the way. But this was just a test pass to see if I was happy with my signal path for my acoustic and things like that. This is normally what you would see in an actual tracking session, would be a million regions like this. And if you want to get even more complex, you could have a million regions on a million different playlists. And we just don't even want to get into that right now. That's another video for another night with several drinks. Anyway, going back to label your shit. What do we say, kids? Label your shit. All right. I got to get my bearings here. Figure out what I was going to do. Oh, I was going to switch back to my mix window because I want to show you what I'm doing with my guitars. So mix window's back up. All right. What I've got going here is highlighted in green here. These guys are all my bass and guitar DI tracks. This one here is the acoustic guitar track that I added. That's why it doesn't match all the rest of these things, because it's the new kid and no one likes it yet. So this guy here is my bass. This is guitar 1, 2, 3, 4. Dangly Doo lead. And, or actually, let's see, that is, what was that one? Yeah, oh, I wasn't sure. I couldn't remember. And look at that. If I open it up and I look at the fucking name, it tells me what it is. Dangly Doo's lead melody guitar. Okay. Label your shit, kids. We've got our clean guitar, and then this guy here is another clean guitar. So all those guitars are split up as bass goes to its own bass subgroup. Guitar 1 and 2 come into rhythm guitars 3 and 4 are coming over to rhythm guitars 2. Clean guitar, those are coming over, yep, you guessed it, clean guitars. And then the lead is coming into the lead guitars bus. Imagine that. The shit's pretty simple if you think about it. So let's see. Next I've got my master bus just for my local monitors. I've got a headphones bus here. I've got my click track. I've got my talkback mic that is not coming to my local monitors. It is only feeding the YouTube stream. And the way I'm feeding all of my playback off my mix bus, and actually not technically correct, the way I'm feeding all of what I'm hearing through my mix bus is I've got a send on all of these master track bus groups that's feeding my Sonobus plugin. That's a bus track. So all my tracks and instruments come into my subgroups. My subgroups feed my master bus, my headphones bus, and my Sonobus AUX. And on Sonobus, I pull up the Sonobus window. I tell it I want to send stereo. I go in here. I can tell it what bit rate, what sample rate, or sample rate, sorry. I need to correct that. Sample rate follows the session. but you have control over what type of audio codec you want to stream in. You can pick any compressed format, anywhere from 16 kbps to 256, or you can do PCM uncompressed audio. This is what you want to use, guys. If you're using any of these other compressed versions, you're essentially streaming an MP3, which is fine from a data standpoint, but the problem with those is they're more CPU intensive. If you get into those, your computer not only has to run the session, not only has to run the video, whatever you're running, OBS or Prism Studio or StreamYard or Zoom, or you take your pick. If you've got a computer that's maybe not, Godzilla, adding a compressed audio codec to your stream is just going to bog things down a little bit more. So as counterintuitive as it might seem, try to use an uncompressed audio stream. So my sessions run at 24-bit. I'm going to run this at 24-bit. So Sonobus is taking my talkback mic and my mix through here, feeding it out to the Sonobus receive that's inserted as a plug-in filter on my my main audio interface output capture. So that's how I'm getting my Pro Tools into OBS. I can do another video on how to set that up in detail, because I know that that's something that a lot of people struggle with. Another reason that I'm running my talkback through my session right now, when I started the video and had everything up, you probably saw that I had some other things up on screen. And primarily what I had was Sonobus and my talkback Mutomatic plugin here. But now that we're to it, I'll explain this. What this is doing is my talkback mic is coming in on an auxiliary input into Pro Tools. You can do this in any DAW. It doesn't matter if you're a Pro Tools guy or Reaper or whatever. Mutomatic will work in anything. And what it does is you throw it on as an insert, and you've got the option to set it to, it's got logic built into it. It's either normally open or normally closed, or normally open or normally muted, if you want to think of it that way. This circle in the middle of the interface is how you can tell that it's actually passing audio. What's cool about Mutomatic is it will automate the mute and unmuting function of a bus or a track based on what your transport is doing. So the minute I hit play on my session, this mic is going to mute. So I'm going to start counting, and I'm going to hit play. You're going to hear me go away, and then you'll hear me come back. So I'm going to count to 10. 1, 2... 9, 10. So you should have lost me from about 3 to 8. And you should have had my audio coming through. Did we have audio coming through, guys? Let's see. Let's hear the track. Tim, I did see you should have that coming back there. Let's see here. Okay, thanks. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through... Oh, you know what? I'm going to give you guys a rundown on what I am running for guitar plugins. So on my bass, here, I'm going to get rid of this guy. On my bass over here, I've got my DI track, and it's just fed through the Brainworks Plugin Alliance Ampeg SVT. I am a big fan of Ampeg anything, but I'm not really impressed with this. I haven't found the magic mojo that makes a DI feed into this sound the way I know it to sound. I've played through these amps and I've owned them, and there's something not right about this. I think I can get better Ampeg tones using a Sans amp, but I've been trying to try this. So if I just am missing something and you know how to make this thing work and sound like a jazz bass through an Ampeg SVT head, leave a comment below and let me know what's going on. So that is my bass amp feed. I'm also running Slate Digital virtual mix rack, just a little EQ, little help, and not really much going on there yet. My guitar tracks, I usually filter these out. Right now these are not active. I've got everything bypassed, but I like to set my tracks up so that initially I leave my first inserts open in case I need to trim something. If you've got a if you're using a DAW that has clip gain like Pro Tools, this isn't a problem, but you don't have clip gain on subgroups. So a lot of times I'll space my processing inserts out this way. But what I like to do is I like to leave the first slot open in case I need to insert a trim plugin to just feed or manipulate the input level, signal level into the track. You know, if I'm hitting something like this amp emulator and it's just a little too hot and I need to clean it up, a lot of times what I'll do, I'll pin that so it doesn't go away. If you guys don't know, and you're a Pro Tools user, when you open up a plugin, you can hit this little red button, and that's like the pin button in Reaper and every other DAW has them. Let's say I'm hitting this too hot, and I want to trim that down. I can come in here, and where do we go? I can pull up a trim plugin, and I can set this to give me 6 dB or 12 dB range, and I can boost or cut by that amount. So if I'm overdriving this plugin, I can simply use a trim plugin on that bus, or let's say sometimes I'll put my guitar sims on an actual bus and feed 4 guitar DIs into that. If I'm just kind of looking for the same general vibe on all those takes, and you know, I don't typically do that, but I will do that. So this would work in that application too. Trim plugin, they're great. Anyway, then I'll throw an EQ on here. Sometimes if I've got something that I really want to clean up before I feed it into an amplifier, I'll low cut or high pass that so that cleans that up. We all know what distortion on a guitar. Let's see. By the way, I prefer you print your amp sims. It lets me know what you're going for in your mix. Yeah, I normally do, but where this is the first one that we're going to work on together, I wanted to kind of see. I didn't want to influence the direction that you took it in, because I really like the flavor that you have in your productions and your mixes and the tones that you choose in your style of writing, and I wanted to not impede you from going that direction if that's what you wanted to do. So I normally do, but I chose specifically not to this time. And yes, I absolutely know what you mean. As a mixer, he says, I'd prefer not to have to make those decisions, if you know what I mean. So let's see. And I can print some of these if you want, and I can send them to you as references. That's fine. I'm happy to do that. I do have a couple. I've got other couple more acoustic guitar parts that I need to put together on this and get this out to you too. So I'll go ahead and print those 4 other guitars, 5 actually with the lead, and I'll send those to you as well. But anyway, trim plugin, it's your friend. A lot of times when you're fighting something and you can't figure out why that plugin that you just paid $200 for or whatever is not sounding the way you thought it would sound, it might be your gain staging. Oh god, there's 2 fucking words that I shouldn't have said, right? Gain staging. Anyway, you got to clean things up sometimes to make things sound the way you want. So going back to what I've got on my guitars here, running this Black Sun, you can take a guess as to what that is. And I posted earlier on my Facebook. I had a post that I shared about my thoughts on this one, and this in no way is a slap in the face to the Neural DSP folks or any of my friends that like to use Neural DSP. I am a raging fan of the Nolly plugins, and if you read my post, you'll know what I feel about this. But I'm gonna just sum this up in saying, If you have not tried Overloud's Thu or the Slate Digital version, and you like guitar tone and you like equipment, check this out. Just check it out, because it's similar to a lot of other things that I feel were really great ideas and just fell short horribly. So anyway, we'll do another video in detail about this, but that's what's going on there. Guitar 4 is the same thing, just a slightly different sound. Now, what I'm running on my lead is, and again, I love Archetype Nolly, but I'm also a big fan of the Soldano SLO 100 sound. And I have put together a version in here. Something's weird. Bypass that because we don't need two heads running. But anyway, and this isn't the 100, this is the SLO 88 lead. But that's kind of what I'm going on. And you'll see here that I've also got a Crybaby wah on the beginning of my chain here for this particular guitar. And that is because I have been toying around with automating some wah on some accents and things in some of the song. So that's why that's there. It's not active right now. This is what my chain in here is for that lead guitar. Got a little bit slap delay, a little bit of verb. So I'm going to shut up now, and I'm going to start playing this back. I'm going to try to keep Sonobus from overloading or overdriving or anything in the stream here. One thing that I did notice on the last attempt that let's see. I had shot a video basically doing what we're doing now earlier. And one thing that I noticed when I went back and watched the video to make sure everything was good is, I don't know if anybody notices anything. If you notice, comment and see if you notice what I might be circling, what the problem might have been. Knowing that this is my acoustic guitar track that I added, and all the rest of these are feeding Sonobus, there is no way currently for you guys to hear that acoustic guitar track. So anything that I was doing before, you guys weren't hearing. And I forgot that until just now. So we're going to go ahead and I can actually just alt drag this over, and just like that, my Sonobus feed stream, or Sonobus feed copied over there. Now you notice that my pan for that stream defaulted to the left. That's just a preference that I've got right now. I don't normally send mono sends. Everything I do is typically stereo to a stereo bus or a Q mix or phones mix. I'm gonna hit this. So now when I open this back up, everybody will hear this actual acoustic guitar track. Let's see, I'm going to take a look here. Looks like you guys are just having a great old time chatting about things, and I'm just yapping away. Let me see. This is going to be fun to go back and look at this, guys. Thanks. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hit play, and I'm just going to kind of check out what I've got going as if I've never heard this. Obviously I have, because I wrote the damn thing, but I haven't really listened to this acoustic guitar track to hear what it sounds like, so we'll check that out a little bit. Get in here. Pull the edit window back up. And we're going to go to the beginning of the song. We're going to cue this up. And another thing, as far as track, or as far as your session, and this is nowhere near what I would normally put in here. A lot of these are left over from the initial session. Go back through the song and name your markers. Verse, chorus, bridge, end. Label shit. So here we go. Let's see here. All right, bear with me. All right. One other thing that I just thought of that I should point out, as far as Mutomatic. So when Mutomatic mutes when you're playing back, if you need to talk to somebody or you want to comment on something, you can hit. We'll just back up here. We'll go to the bridge. Let's see. So I'm going to start playing back from the bridge. My mic is going to mute. But if I hit this push to talk button in the middle of the Mutomatic interface, you're going to hear me jump back in over the mix. I don't know if it's going to be loud enough, but you'll at least be able to see what I'm talking about. So if I hold that button down, I can yell, jump in, and I can tell you, hey, that take sucks. Hey, stop playing. Hey, stop. No, stop. Anyway, you get the point. A lot of times if a take just sucks, we're just going to hit stop anyway, right, guys? Anyway, that's where I'm at right now. We're about 40 minutes into this. I think I'm probably going to wrap this up and go back and take a look at the comments and things. Let's see, what do we got here? Mark says, yeah, we need some 12-string and mandolin. We need some vocals. All right, my disclaimer, I'm not a vocal or video guy. So I'm working on that, and appreciate all the guys, all the help you guys are giving me. Let's see here. Yeah, and as far as the way I map my stuff out, I'll get back in here. So my lead guitar parts in this are, I grew up listening to instrumental guitar music primarily, and jazz and stuff like that. And so those lines are basically about the best way that I can present what my melodic ideas are. In a lot of cases, my stuff is strictly instrumental, and I'm okay with that. I do write some lyrics that end up in some songs with other people. I feel like I do a better job writing with other people. Some of you know there's a song that I've been working on that I have struggled for about the last 9 months to be able to sing the last verse. And if it weren't for that, it would be done and out and people could hear it. It's kind of weird that I do all that I do for everybody else, and then people ask me, where do we see your stuff and what can we listen to? And some of you that are here watching have heard my stuff, all of you actually. But I'm really looking forward to making a go of this and trying to get something going that's decent. So again, thanks for all your help. Thanks for checking it out. If you think that I might be able to help you or anybody else figure something out, whether you like the sound of what I'm doing or not, I'm gonna admit it and say it. I know it. It's the elephant in the room. I'm more of a techie than I am a musician, and so a lot of what I do is solve problems, and then about 10% of the time I try to get creative. So if there's something you think I can help you or someone with, please let me know. Send them my way, and I'll do what I can. If you if there's anything that you would like me to cover in a video, leave a comment, send me a message, whatever. Again, thanks everybody. Appreciate it. Bye.